You are now listening to Radio HAVN.
Yo, what's up, guys? Welcome back. Thank you again for tuning in. If you are not already subscribed, be sure to subscribe to Radio HAVN, as we are yet again bringing you another artist, another creative, another producer, another DJ live over here in the studio with me. I go by the name DJ McLovin, your host, of course, but it is not about me. I'm just here to help expose talent that deserves the spotlight being shined on them. And over here with us in the studio today is someone that has some very interesting transitional points to touch on for sure. Super talented. I'm personally a fan of, and also good friends with. Someone whose music that I've gotten to incorporate live into my sets, and I've also been able to see the feedback as well as not only hear it being made to as well. Hearing the sound transition from one aspect of music into another aspect and seeing the correlation too as well. And stuff like that piques my interest, and I hope it piques yours. So with me in the studio today, ladies and gentlemen, DJ and producer FARIKO.
What's going on? Yo, thank you so much. I'm glad that you're a fan of my music and everything that, you know, I really put a lot into this. So I really appreciate you, bro. And that goes a long way. So
this man just started the interview and ended it that quickly. Like, thank you for having me. You know, just want to look pretty on camera. First and foremost, how you feeling, bro?
I'm feeling good. I'm feeling really good. I'm actually feeling creative right now, but I'm good. I'm good.
I mean, in a studio setting, it's hard not to, you know, feel those creative juices flowing.
Yeah.
Most of the time.
Especially with the lighting here.
Yeah. And then there are times where there is, you know, a little bit of studio block, but love the fact that the creative juices are flowing. With those creative juices flowing, I need that directed for the people to hopefully maybe even inspire some of their creative juices, because there are people out there who love to understand the mechanics of what goes on behind the scenes. So essentially bringing that to light, giving them a little bit of insight, giving them some detail, some core insight of what goes on in the studio, what goes on for a DJ, what goes on behind the scenes, because a lot of people don't see that. A lot of people just see the finished and final product. But
of course,
there's obviously a beginning, middle, and end to every story.
Right.
So I think it's only fair. Why don't we properly introduce FARIKO and give them a little bit of insight to the origins and like where did we start from? How did we get there? What did that look like along the way? And where are we now?
All right. So where I originally started, I actually started as a hip hop producer. Go figure. And
go figure.
I feel
nothing wrong with that.
No, there's nothing wrong with that. But I also feel like, especially for like people like us, like in EDM stuff like that, we all kind of start in what you call hip hop. And I feel like everything we learn from hip hop, we actually bring to electronic music. So that's like, honestly, if you couldn't tell me 4 years ago that I was going to be making house music, I would have never believed you. But here I am today, and you know, and I'm going to keep it going. But where I originally started from, I would say, let's say 15 years ago. Jesus. Yeah, about 15 years ago, I got into production and stuff like that, and I really wanted to be a producer. But let's go back a little bit more, because that's not what I really wanted to do. Like, I love music. I was always a musician, played instruments and stuff like that. But I actually wanted to be in law enforcement. And as you see, that didn't work out too well.
Wow.
Yeah,
that's actually news. I didn't know that. That's actually news to me. I did not know that.
Yeah, those questions don't come up.
So originally you were thinking you're gonna be like what, like cop?
I wanted to be a DEA agent or FBI counterterrorism.
All right.
Yeah. So I've come a long way in a very weird frame.
And then, all right, so from law enforcement, we now found a passion for music. Were you playing instruments when you had that like desire to like get into law enforcement at first?
Yeah, so I play guitar and piano and stuff like that, and that's where I started. I actually started on the piano. You know those little stories was like, yeah, my parents bought me a keyboard at 4 years
Casio.
old. Yeah, and I'm pressing the buttons. You learned how to play Mary Had a Little Lamb. Yeah, that was me.
All right.
So over time, I eventually got into production. Actually, a friend of mine, JJ, he bought me FL Studio for one of my birthdays way back. He was like, yo, I think you'd be really good at this, you know, with the musical knowledge and stuff like that. And I was like, all right, I tried it. I'm not going to lie. I wanted to quit. I hated it. I hated not doing it. I hated learning FL Studios. I love FL Studios, but I hated learning it. Be patient, producers. It works. Anyway.
That's the first hot take of the day. That is the first hot take of the day, because not to cut you off.
No, you're good.
It's definitely. I feel like it's. I want to say it's considered to be like a partial level of controversy in terms of like what people use to produce, whether it be FL Studio, Ableton, Logic, Pro Tools, like all these different DAWs. Like at the end of the day, I feel like to me at least, whether you drive a Toyota, a Honda, an Escalade, it's getting you where you need to go.
Yeah,
you know,
true.
So
point A to point B, right?
But yeah, that patience part of like learning it until you get to a point from like not knowing anything into then being able to be very fluid and flow through it very, very quickly.
Right.
Yeah, that is tasking. But yes, you are hating the learning process of learning.
I wanted to quit, bro. I wanted to literally just put the laptop down and said, yeah, I'm not doing this. But as I was learning, we all used YouTube University, right? I actually went the extra route and started looking at books and stuff like that. And not even books on FL Studio, just books on how to make a beat. It was a task. But
like, how do I do this?
Right. I feel like the reason why it was a task is because it's new. Wasn't tech savvy. The most I could do is use the iPhone, and I'm a gamer, so there's that. So I played a lot of video games. But when you open FL Studio, especially back in that time, FL Studio 10, and you see the producer edition, you see all these blocks, you're like, yo, what does this do? And then you're trying to make a kick, a clap, and a hi-hat work, and everything was off rhythm. Every time I did it, and I couldn't figure out why. So then I brought myself back to YouTube, and I'm like, oh, I didn't quantize the damn note.
And now you're like, oh my God, such basic level mistakes that I made. But
right.
To be fair, though, you were at a basic level. Like you were at a beginner level. So you got FL Studio, you went to YouTube University, which don't sleep on people. Don't be ashamed of. YouTube and Google, best friends.
Yes, 100%.
Okay? Best friends out there. And especially now with like ChatGPT and stuff like that, like helping you kind of narrow things down and learn things a little bit quicker.
ChatGPT, we have Suno. It's making it for you now.
All right, well, let's.
We're gonna take it a step back from that though.
Yeah, but you're a real person.
No, 100%.
You're not AI.
No.
We didn't generate a person like. Can you generate a person with a tan shirt and jeans to come in the studio and like sit across?
I'm not gonna lie. One of these AIs can do it.
Yeah, they definitely can. Yeah. But you're doing it.
Yeah,
you're doing it.
Yeah.
So I think that still provides a level of like authenticity into it. That
right.
You know, I mean, don't get me wrong. AI is cool. There's a lot of pros and cons to it, but I mean, I at least me personally, I'm preferring like I want to know like who is doing. Like robots can do a lot of different things. AI can do a lot of different things. Cool, great. But that relation, I feel like, again, people to people.
Right.
You know, people to people is definitely there, which I think is like the beauty of what we do as creatives in terms of building that bridge, that correlation, that relation, you know, because you're making stuff that people can relate to and really be a part of.
Right.
You know, and feel like, okay, yeah, he gave us something to hold on to. He gave us something to vibe to and feel to. You're giving them emotion. You're giving them quality. You're giving them audio. You're giving them visual. All these different aspects.
Right.
So, yeah, there is, you know, different stuff out there. But the there's gonna be so many side tangents. I already see it happening. Just because like off of like controversy and like, hot takes, all that stuff, which I'm totally here for. I love this stuff. So you're learning FL, you're getting the basics down. Continue walking us through that origin. All
right. So after the whole YouTube university, I started to get it, and I started to actually like my beats. I thought I was the next Lex Luger.
Next Lex
Luger. I was reaching, but anyway,
that's still
you gotta humble yourself. I feel like when I made a fire first beat, I wasn't humble, and I had to learn the hard way. So when I was making these beats and everything like that, and they started coming out really good, I was like, yeah, I got this. I'm him. And then you realize you start to learn more and more and experience with other genres, and you realize you're not him. You're not him. And there's mistakes that you're doing that you don't even realize, like mixing. Imagine making a beat and everything is redlining from the start to the finish, and you think that sounds good. Then you play it for somebody else who knows music and is not tone deaf like I was back then, I guess. And it's just like, sheesh, yo, why does it sound like distorted and everything like that? And back to the drawing board. So there's a lot I actually had to learn. Not to say that I didn't know the whole musicality of things. I think I was just way over my head, especially because I felt good. And it should feel good. You know, you're progressing in something, but I feel like I took it a little too far and I had to humble myself. And when I humbled myself is when I started actually producing.
And that's where the quality came in.
That's where the quality started coming in. That's where the effort, I guess, started coming in. And I stopped trying to be Lex Luger and started to be FARIKO.
But you weren't necessarily FARIKO at that time. Who were you at that point in time? Because that definitely does play a role into the origin. Because today you're FARIKO.
You caught on, yeah.
Who were you caught on?
Yeah.
Who were you? So after you humbled yourself,
right.
After you got the foundations going for using FL Studio, after you realized that you weren't Lex Luger, who were you?
I was FARIKO on the track. Yeah, very hip hop. I followed after Mr. London on the track. I was a big fan of him, Metro and stuff. And if you hear my old like production and stuff like that, well, it's not really that old, but if you hear my production, my hip hop production, you hear it. You hear a mixture of Zaytoven, a mixture of London on the track, and Metro. That sums me up.
All major producers, and clearly they had a high level of influence in you at the time when you were very heavily like hip hop driven.
Yeah, 100%.
So what was that like? You're a hip hop producer now. You're making trap. You're making drill. You're making hip hop. You're like, talk us through that.
So everything was great. I'm knocking out beat after beat. But then I realized something. I don't know any artists. I don't know nobody.
So you're just cooking.
I'm just in my room cooking, and I just didn't know anybody. So what I did was go on social media, start tapping in with people, trying to find a scene somewhere on Long Island. And eventually I started connecting with some artists coming up. Like one of them was, this was a little bit later down the road, but there was an artist, Young Legacy, who is really talented. And I started connecting with him and started working on a lot of tracks with him. But there was also, I forgot the dude's name, but there's somebody else before him. But I forgot. It's too far back for me.
So with that, you're at this staging point. Now you're realizing, all right, cool. Gotta find some artists now because people aren't just out here listening to instrumentals. The only people that are really doing that are artists that are looking for instrumentals and looking for beats to hop on to essentially glue together. So now you have the beat, you have the vocals, now we have a song. Boom.
All right.
What was the reception like in terms of like you dropping music now? Because now you have rappers, you have artists, and you're putting music out. What was that reception like?
Honestly, it felt good. It felt good to actually hear somebody on my beats like that I, curated and produced, and it honestly kept me pushing. Like I loved hip hop, but I left, I left, I grew out of it. I feel like I grew out of it.
And what were like and aside from your reception, what was the reception like for like listeners, like for just genuine people like out there? Like, was it something that you were getting a lot of traction from? Was it something that you were getting, like, how was the feedback? Was it being streamed? Do you feel like it was getting the attention that you were hoping for? Like, what was that like?
It's a little bit of both, because sometimes it depends on the artist, but some tracks would do really well. Some tracks would not do so great, but you would think they would do well. So it really depends on everyone's crowd. And I feel like no matter how fire the beat was, it's not my decision on what goes and what doesn't go, So I feel like I had to learn from that. But either way, I still kept pushing, still kept making beats, and I tried reaching out, with labels and stuff like that, and I tried to be the next, Metro Boomin, Beethoven, London on the track. So yeah.
And with that,
right,
there was, I'm assuming at that point there was a shift in desire, perspective in terms of navigating as a producer, where you were just like what was that like? What was the transition like? Because that's not who FARIKO is today.
Right.
That's FARIKO on the track.
Right.
But now there's a transitional part, because this was, years ago, and there's been a switch up.
Yeah.
So walk us through that transition from going to hip hop into where you are today.
So I would say about 2 years ago, after 10 years plus in the hip hop industry, about 2 years ago, I met some great friends of mine that goes by the name of Tremo Concerto. And I was in the studio with them, and we're just kind of vibing and stuff like that. And I believe one of them was like, yeah, I can't wait to release this track. And I'm like, oh, what track? And they played this house track. And I'm like, oh, that's so cool. They're releasing their own tracks as an artist. I'm like, that's so cool. I'm like, oh, shit, they don't have to wait on nobody. I'm like, that's awesome. And that I feel like, just to go back to the hip hop thing, that's another reason why I kind of like deviated from it, because I was always waiting on somebody else's time. And I got tired of waiting, because it's like, how long am I going to wait? And it doesn't matter how many artists I worked with, it'd be a waiting period with everybody. That was the issue. So you feel like you're getting no progression, you know what I mean? Because your progression is off somebody else. You know what I mean? Like, the artist gets the recognition, but people will say that beat is fire, right? They won't know the producer, but they sure as hell know the artist on the beat.
Right. that definitely is a big thing. I feel like producers will get spotlight and praise mostly from other producers.
Right.
Like, it's a lot of times, like, ask almost anyone. Especially, I would say, if you're talking hip hop, you're talking pop, you're talking even Afro beats, okay, and even in soca music, okay. We just had Boogie Ranks in here for the last episode, and a lot of times people don't know who was sitting there recording the vocals,
right?
Who was sitting there that made the beat?
Who was doing the nitty gritty?
Who was sitting there that was doing the nitty gritty? That was in the studio for hours, listening to this more times than anybody else probably ever will.
Right. Going
piece for piece, plug-in for plug-in, reverb for reverb, delay for delay, vocal for vocal. Like, who was the one doing that? They know who Drake is before they know who Drake's producer is. They know who Lady Gaga is before they know who Lady Gaga's producer is. They know who Machel is before they know, like, a lot of people don't realize, like, not every artist writes their own songs. Not every artist produces their own song. Mm-hmm. Not every artist makes their own beat. Not every artist masters their own song. A lot of artists only know how to sing. A lot of artists only know that stuff. But not gonna hop on the soapbox on that one. So, but it's a true thing.
Right.
You're pointing out something that I feel like a lot of people don't know. That's a big thing. People don't realize that is something that can delay a project tremendously, especially when you're dealing with artists that are not locked in and they're on that same type of timing and have that level of hunger. You point out something that's very, very big. It takes time. You can sit, cook up a beat, boom. Sometimes in order to complete that beat, you need to hear how the artist is going to flow on it in order to finish the rest of the beat to know like, all right, where's the kick going to come in? Where's that going to come in?
What's the direction?
Exactly.
Right.
That's a big deal. That's a big thing that the general public don't necessarily see. They don't. This is the behind the scenes. So you're shedding light on something that's a big deal, and clearly that played a major role in seeing the differences of hearing how Tremo and Concierto released their music on their own timing when they were ready, and not wait for. I gotta wait for this artist to come in and record. Like this artist, they're not getting back to me. Schedules clashing, things not lining up, like all these different directions. So touch on that some more. Like when you saw that, what was that like? What was the desire at that point? What was the curiosity? Walk us through that.
Of like when Tremo and Concierto were releasing their music, right?
Yeah, because you said you saw that,
right?
And then you were like, "That's so cool!" Like not only did the song sound cool, but the thought of it clicked in your head. You were just like, "Whoa!" They won their artist, 2, their producers,
right?
3, there's no other factors to factor in there. It's just them putting out what they want when they want,
what they feel.
That too,
you know.
So you read all that. So talk us through that, because I'm assuming that's like it sounds like a pivotal point.
That is a pivotal point. So basically, when they they were showing me the songs and stuff like that, and we were all in the studio having fun, laughing, whatever. I made a comment and I said, "Yo guys, I'm about to join y'all. I'm about to join the house wave. I'm gonna make house music." They looked at me crazy. Like, yeah, bro, you're not doing that.
They were like, yeah, no,
they're not. Because you wouldn't think in that point where I'm at with the hip hop and the drill and all that stuff, you wouldn't think I'd make a pivotal point like that. Oh, I did. And when I did, I lost a lot of people, like artists and stuff, relationships. I wouldn't say the bridges burned. I would just say communication just stopped. Because it's more so I went to a different path. Like, I'm not producing drill anymore. I'm trying to make music that makes people feel good and dance. You know what I mean?
Right.
Not running on your next op. No offense. Don't get me wrong. I like drill music, but like they're 2 different feelings.
Facts.
You know? Facts. So I feel like when I made that choice, it was trial and error. I released my first track called Push Me, and it was like just a house track. I don't even know what kind of genre. People told me deep house. I'm like, yo, it just sound like house. So I released that and it did decent. I would say it did decent as my first track, but that's not what changed everything for me. After I started jumping into progressive house, that's when I started seeing a little bit of that's when One More Night came out. And that's when I started seeing a little bit more of oh, I like this, because I started posting content of it and stuff like that. And it started reaching the right people. But when I released my first Afro House track, that's where everything changed.
So you went from hip hop, drill, saw the house, you were like, I think I could do this. Then you were like, yeah, I'm going to do this. People were just like, and then
it wasn't easy, bro. It was like relearning how to produce again. I'm not gonna lie.
That same level of pain, like you were just like, now I gotta use like other things that you weren't using before.
Yeah, okay. Like, oh my God, finding the sounds and trying to create your own sounds. It was just a lot, bro.
And now essentially you went from, I guess, a generic house song, Push Me.
Yeah.
From there you immersed yourself. What steps did you take to further your knowledge into getting into the world of house? Because the world of house is what I call an umbrella term. It covers so much.
Right.
House has so many subgenres, subcategories. You have tech house, progressive house, bass house, acid house, garage house, Afro house, disco house. Like, it's a lot, because people just think house music is house music, right. Or house music is EDM, or they just go that music, and it's just like there is distinctions in different sounds and different elements. So that, I'm assuming, probably was a little intimidating for you, or a little bit like how was that?
Every time I was playing a house track that wasn't mine, just to play a house track, I realized it was a different genre of house. Then I had realized how like difficult this is. It's electro house, there's piano house, there's disco house. I'm like, huh? Like, what you mean? Like it was so overwhelming. But I learned like why it's kind of like broken down like that, because it has certain elements. Piano. Electro house is a little bit more like dancey, I guess, more like trance. You know, I could be wrong on that. I don't know electro house like that. But there was a track I heard that was electro house, and I'm like, what? What is electro house? Like, yeah. But then when I like back to like Afro House and stuff like that, when I heard of Afro House, I didn't even know what that was. I'm like, what is Afro House? So I started looking into Afro House and started looking into people like Francis Mercier, who came in on my shuffle one time, and Hugel. Hugel, you know, I found out about Hugel through Tremo Concierto. They're, you know, he's very highly regarded and stuff like that. Great DJ, great producer. And I started studying the sound of Afro House. Then over time, I actually made a track, my first Afro House track. It was my first Afro House track was actually with Tremo, and it was called Twine Tengela. And oh man, that was a long night. We were in there all night working on that track.
So with that, you're also a DJ,
right?
You're adapting into that. What's that been like for you?
I'm not going to lie. At first, I did not think I was capable of doing this within a reasonable amount of time. I say a reasonable amount of time because being an Afro House producer, I wanted to get more into DJing and understanding DJ. That's the first time I really touched base on that. So I feel like that was a challenge in itself. But I actually had a lot of help. And, you know, one of those people is right across from me. So thank you, McLovin.
I don't know what you're talking about. I say I'm a DJ. I don't know if...
And I can't forget my counterparts, you know, Tremo and Concierto. They put me through hell learning how to DJ, because every question I had was a dumb question. But
notice how it was them that put me through hell. I was the nice one, okay? So
no.
I was the nice one.
No. You're the one that made me want to put the Opus Squad away.
So since I was the nice one, all right.
Don't listen to him.
Since I was you listen, it came out of it, you said it. All right.
I said thank you for helping me, not being nice to me while doing so.
Exactly. That's help.
He's my biggest critic when it comes to DJing.
I'm just the guy. But I'm just the guy. But
okay.
You're the producing has come down. You got it to a lock now. You've been putting out music, a part of TKF. You've been putting out music as an individual,
right?
As an individual artist and producer, and the DJing part. What's it like been playing shows?
So I had one last year in June. It was June. Yeah, June. It was on a rooftop, like a nice vibe and stuff like that. I'm not going to lie. First show was very intimidating. I was literally like weeks of preparation, just constantly just practicing my blends and my mixes. And I went the upper, I even went to the extreme and booked like a private studio and just to practice on CDJs and get comfortable with them. Cause I never played on CDJs in my life. So until then. And I feel like I'm an overthinker, and I feel like I overthinked it, because when I actually got on, I was still nervous. Don't get me wrong, but after like 5 minutes, I was like, I got this. You just got to do this and yeah. But then I realized I was ODing with the effects when I played it back, because I recorded the set. I'm not gonna lie, the set came out good, but geez, I went crazy with the effects.
I remember hearing that set.
Yeah, it was good, but it was a little.
I remember hearing that set, and your commentary said it best.
All right,
but you know what? Here's the thing. I'll put it out there too as well, and I'll let people know. Like, I remember before, like, virtual DJ, itch days, I'm over here thinking BPMs were like points, like it was a video game, and I'm like just bouncing all over the place.
Right.
So trust me, we all start from somewhere. We've all had those beginner shows where we were just like, this could have been better, or like, this was rough, or it was good, but this should have been whack. But you learn from it.
Right.
You pointed that out. you learned a couple different things. You learned the differences between like what it's like being a house producer versus being a hip hop producer, and the concepts of like learning structure and time. All these different things that do play a role that I feel are very raw and something to take note in, that whether you're just starting out, whether you're massive, whether you have a huge following or whatnot, you're human and these things happen. And these are also the things that happen behind the scenes.
Right.
So you pointed out a lot. What is coming up? What is there new stuff coming up? Can people expect to,
right.
like what's on the come up now?
So I'm actually looking forward to releasing a new track sometime soon. I don't know when, but soon. And
it's in the works.
It's in the works. It's in the works, and I'm really excited for that. I recently dropped a track called After Party. I'm not gonna lie, it was a complete change in my sound, and it reflected. It reflected.
And the reception is there. Like people are streaming, people are tuning in. Like
right. They're tuning, but I feel like it was also like not my strongest track because I tried to be different. For one, it's not like my vibe. I love the track. I just wish I wasn't the one that produced it, because when you mix it with everything else in my catalog, it doesn't make sense. It's a great track though. Don't get me wrong. It's just that like, people know me for the Yemale and the Kora and the Nagora Yakwa. Like, what is After Party?
He was speaking Swahili at that point. He was speaking Swahili, and I didn't understand any of it. I know these are all names of songs.
Those were the track IDs.
I can't translate it. We'll have to like add like subtitles into this. And just have like the bouncing ball, like this is the definition. Like this is what it means.
Right. Yeah.
But okay, music's on the come up. Are we doing more shows?
I'm looking to do more stuff definitely this summer. So I'm definitely looking to lock in and be more part of outdoors, because I feel like one thing that I've learned as DJing and stuff like that is you got to be outside. You have to be outside, and I feel like I've been inside too long. I got the production and everything. Now it's time to be outside and actually connect with the crowd that actually listens to my music, because I feel like there's not really a connection besides social media. You know what I mean? Like, I want to see you. I want to dance with you. I want to vibe with you.
And you got to shake hands. That is super important.
Right.
So with that, okay, this is where I need you to lock in and plug in, because, and not just him, this also goes for everybody watching at home or wherever you're tuning in from. Once again, thank you. They need to figure out where to connect with you, where to follow you, where to stream the music, where can they listen, where can they get a sample. Aside from the mix, we need connect. So connect to the people right now. Where can they find you? Where can they listen? Where can they stream? How can they support? How can fellow people hit you up? Other producers, maybe some collabs.
Right.
All right.
I'm always open up to collabing. Always open to collabs. So you can actually find me everywhere at FARIKO Music. That's literally that's the threads, that's the Instagram, that's the Facebook. And as far as like where all my music is, it's pretty much on all platforms. Your Apple, your Spotify, your iHeartRadio. Like literally, it's everywhere.
Man's on iHeartRadio.
Yeah.
Cool. And what's the handle?
Even what's that Beatport? There we go. Even on Beatport, my tracks are on Beatport. So yeah, definitely
nice.
lock in.
Vibes. Awesome. Well, thank you so much for joining us over here at Radio Haven.
Wait, FARIKO Music with a K. I forgot to mention that. I mean, I feel like you'll find me. I'm around. I'm here.
I'm here.
I'm here.
He's
with
here.
you.
Right now he's here, but then when you listen to him, he'll be there.
That's the point of my music.
Fair play.
When you play my music, I'm in there with you.
FARIKO, thank you so much for joining us over here at Radio Haven.
Thanks for having me.
Everyone at home tuning in to wherever you're tuning in from, we want to thank you for joining in for another episode of Radio Haven. I've been your host, DJ McLovin. Be sure to like, share, comment, subscribe. Let us know. Is there somebody that we need to come and check out? Somebody that we need to investigate? Someone that we need to bring into the studio? Let us know in the comments. Be sure to tell a friend to tell a friend. Share across all your social media platforms. Tell your neighbors, tell your cousins, tell your family. Put it in the group chats. All that stuff, regardless of whether you're a creator, producer, DJ, artist, photographer, painter, no matter what it is, We want to hear it. We want to see it. We want to live it. We want to feel it. So thank you once again. I've been your host, DJ McLovin. And until next time, see you soon.